Welcome back to the State of Stupidity. We're back again, and just in the brief time that we've been away, there's already been so much news. So many things have happened. I mean, in the last 72 hours, the fires and stuff all over the world, or just in the US and Canada, it's gotten crazy. I mean, up in Canada yesterday, they were dealing with 150 different fires in Quebec alone, and oddly enough, there seems to be some footage of it looking like some of these fires all started around, they had an initial jumping point. It's weird, where I've seen some satellite imagery that shows the smoke all lifting off in random little points, all coming up into the sky, and then just a few hours later, down here in the United States, we were issued a hazardous air advisory due to all the smoke. And here it is, over 24 hours after that initial Quebec fire started, and our area is completely covered in smoke still. And our location here, we can smell it. You can tell that there's just something going on still flowing down from up there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems a little suspicious, but I guess we won't know anything until the investigation comes out. I mean, my property, I have a wildfire on my property right now, has been burning since Saturday. That surprisingly keeps reigniting.
Yeah.
In suspicious places. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I got lots of footage that I'm keeping under tabs right now until this thing's taken care of. Let's see what happens and how this plays out. Yeah, it's a little bit odd, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, I just want to wait till everything plays out. I don't want to play my cards too early.
Right. But now, okay, so how many acres do you have? How many acres have burned so far?
My ground's 233 acres.
Okay.
About 50 of it probably burned. And there's a total of, I think, right now 250 acres that's actually burned.
Now,
completely.
50 acres just since Saturday?
Since Saturday. But there's 250 acres total.
Yeah.
About 50 of it's my ground.
Okay. 250 total acres that have been on fire, 50 of that being yours. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Well, and now, other than so the property that comes up against yours, what is that? Like,
it's a water authority property.
Oh, okay.
So there's borders mine.
Yeah, and now there's those windmills up there, right?
Yeah. They're fanning the flames.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just suspicious. I mean, Well, the great thing about my property is it's covered in cameras.
Right. So they've responded in a timely fashion for you, though?
They did they did an okay job, but, the last fire that started, my son was able to get to the fire.
Yeah.
Which is over half an hour away before they were able to get to the fire, and they're literally on the property.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Oh,
literally 400 yards from where the fire is, and they couldn't seem to find it.
Huh. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Kind of suspicious.
Yeah.
He gets there, and I don't know, there's probably maybe a quarter acre, half an acre that was burning at the time.
Right.
And he's able to put it out before they even got to the fire scene.
Yeah.
And luckily, we have the equipment to handle stuff like that. The average person doesn't.
Right. But now, so just that one alone went from, what you said, a quarter acre from the time he got there to how much, just that one?
Just that one was, he got it out, so it didn't.
He actually, that one didn't spread.
Yeah, he got that one out, so that was real good. But I mean,
that's good, yeah.
We found one, me and him found one with our drone on Monday that was literally 50 feet round when we found it.
Okay.
Fire department shows up on scene. Needed to wait till they get the right equipment to put it out.
Right.
Forestry shows up on scene and decides that they don't want to put it out.
Now
they're just going to let it burn. So then there's another 15 to 25 acres that went up in smoke for no reason.
Right, no reason. And did they give any kind of logic behind not doing anything?
Not really. I mean, I think their logic, to be fair to them, was, put that one out and then just another one starts. So let's just burn that green to where it burned originally. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. They did.
Right.
I can't speculate with that. I mean, that's what makes sense to me. I don't want to throw them guys under the bus completely. But,
yeah.
I mean, I think, personally, I would have rather seen it put out because...
Well, yeah, it doesn't make any sense to burn trees that don't need to burn.
And none of that.
I get that it could happen again, but...
The problem is it's extremely windy up there.
Yeah. Well, hey, they got windmills. That's what, they're taking advantage of it.
Exactly. So if you got a small fire that you can let's get it put out because when you get a giant fire, it's just blowing embers all over the place. So
Right.
I mean, that's the only thing I would rather seen it put out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how long until they turn it into California up there where it's not being insured? They won't insure stuff that you want to build on your property because of fire starting.
Well, that's what I told them. I mean, I told them, I said, where the fire stopped now on my property is not going to continue to burn. So figure that out because it's got to get stopped.
Yeah.
There's no reason that where it's at they couldn't stop it. I had a buddy of mine that's in the fire department. He was up there Saturday when the fire started, and he had it stopped to protect my property up there. So there's no reason that should spread past there. No
right. You were saying he did a line.
He did a fire line.
Yeah.
With my equipment, my dozer. So
that
stopped the fire from getting to my my pavilion.
Yeah.
That doesn't go up in smoke.
Right.
So I mean, there's no reason. And then where there was another fire yesterday, and that started on the southern tip of the property where the fire's been out for days. So,
okay. Yeah.
How's that? I have somebody on camera walking by that same location, and then 29 minutes later, the fire burns from out of the camera into where the camera is and sees all that. So something doesn't make sense there.
No.
You have people up there that are supposed to be putting fires out, and you have a fire that starts literally 29 minutes after they walk by there.
Right.
And the fire was probably burning 5 minutes after they walked by there. Realistically,
well, yeah,
it burned into where the camera was actually facing. So.
Exactly, and if it was going for that long, if there was that difference between seeing him and then hearing it,
exactly.
I mean, So,
I mean, some stuff doesn't make sense. But,
right.
We'll see what happens at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna point fingers at anybody.
But now, in your property, you've lost. Nature, no actual property, no vehicles.
It's only trees and
well, only. I mean, it's nature.
Exactly.
It takes a toll on nature. You know,
it messes the wildlife up, but because the place that burned was a nice flat area.
Yeah.
It's pretty much all huckleberries.
Yeah.
So that was food for the animals. So. I mean, it sucks, but hopefully it grows back better. That's the only way to look at it.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, nature always comes back.
It'll probably be green before the end of the year.
Exactly. No matter what we as humans try to do to this planet takes back over and it finds a way.
It's resilient.
Yeah.
We always think that we know better what to do.
Yeah, exactly. No, nature's been here longer than we have, and it'll still be here long after we're gone.
Exactly. I mean, I think, COVID proved that.
Oh, yeah.
When nobody was on the canals that in Venice.
All the dolphins and stuff.
No, in Venice.
Well, it cleared up, and they actually had the wildlife come back.
They said that would never clear up. It was clear in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Without us getting involved. I mean, so I think we try to make stuff better. We end up making it worse sometimes.
Exactly. Look at the CO. I mean, just the CO2 emissions in general. They kind of balanced out when all that stuff happened. It was a weird. They showed some and again, that's the stuff they're showing. It's the data and whatnot that they want to put out there, but. They did show at least. I mean, of course. Well, I mean, they shut everything down. So that's everything will.
Well, I've talked to numerous people that this whole CO2 thing's a joke.
Right.
I'm not. They said right out that the Earth needs the CO2. We're actually need more CO2 than what we're actually producing right now.
Look at photosynthesis.
Yeah. So I mean, it all depends on who you talk to.
Right.
So talk to both sides, and it's probably somewhere in the middle at the end of the road.
Well,
at the end of the day, I mean.
My take on the whole climate change BS, if man thinks that he is capable of destroying this planet with anything other than bombs, that's hubris. You know,
or even trying to fix it.
Yeah,
that's even more fun.
Yeah,
it's easier to destroy than try to fix it. But they're not. I mean, let's think about it. The only reason, if we want to talk about climate change, that's all about money.
Right. Oh yeah.
That's all it's about.
Oh yeah.
You were talking about electric cars.
Yeah.
I mean, where we live in electric cars, that's a joke.
Right.
It's going to last what? A quarter of the day if you're lucky.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not you're going up and down hills. You're in the wintertime. What happens when we're stuck on the interstate in the winter?
Right.
Turn the electric heat on.
Yeah.
How long is that battery going to last?
Exactly.
So we can all sit there and freeze. I mean, there's places where electric cars are great. It's just not everywhere.
Well, but the thing is with the whole electric the electric push, it takes more carbon to offset the solar production, the whole electric production. Like electric power plants run on coal. Yeah. And so if we're trying to go to an electric grid, we're going to need more coal to offset the coal we're already using, but then to meet the demands of the systems that we're currently putting in place. And so in that regard, we're not stopping any of our carbon production. We're actually doubling it. We're definitely increasing. I wouldn't say doubling. I don't know what it would be exactly, but just if you think about it for just 2 seconds beyond what they try to just tell you to think about, it just doesn't make any sense.
And not to mention, I mean, all the products that are made to save this energy are all made with basically oil.
Right.
I mean, all the solar panels, there's so much oil in them. The windmills is all fiberglass and resins and everything like that. So, we're never going to be away from, if we're talking about getting away from these, these resources, it's not going to happen. It's just not realistic.
Yeah.
And, I was talking to the fellow that runs the windmills, and he said the windmills aren't even self-sufficient as far as they don't even make enough money to pay for themselves. Right. Without government funding, it would be no business would last. If you own the windmill business and you didn't get government money, the windmills cannot produce enough electric to pay for themselves. Right. So how's that going to work? Exactly. I mean, we're going to keep pumping money into it constantly. It's just not going to make it. Just doesn't make sense at the end of the day.
Except for the people that it's profiting, and that's just it.
Yeah, people that are making the windmills love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I looked at putting a windmill on my property, and I think at the end of the day it was like $150,000
to put it on there.
Put it on there,
and then would they
routine maintenance? Every year you have to maintain it. Yeah. And it's going to be 120 foot in the air, so a maintenance plan on it's like I think it was like $4,000 to $7,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah, to maintain.
That's just ridiculous.
And that's if there's nothing wrong with it. They just grease the bearings or whatever they got to do, but so it's not even realistic to do it, and government hasn't made it even. If you're older, you're not getting any tax credits. No. So what hourly person, is going to spend $50,000 or $75,000 on a solar system or a windmill, right, to save on a $300 electric bill, right? So unless the government's going to come up with some way that they're going to fund this, and then if they do that, where are we at now? I mean, we're just throwing good money and bad money. It doesn't even make sense.
Exactly. I mean, we've already proven that they're already not doing what they should with the funds that we already give them. Exactly. Well, why go and give them more funds to do even shadier things with and expect it to be in good intentions, Exactly. Well, the path to hell is paved with good intentions.
I mean, there's a solar company under Obama. They got, I think it was like 125 million in government money, and they were bankrupt literally like 2 or 3 months later.
Almost every government-funded, outsourced thing ends up bankrupt. I mean...
Well, yeah, because if it can't survive without that money, how's it going to survive?
Exactly.
That money's going to run out eventually. I mean, you're going to go through... So under that, it's the Democrats, so they're big on all the renewable energy, because that's where all their money's invested. Right. Then when the Democrats lose office and the Republicans pull back all that funding because all their money's tied up in the oil. Yeah. It's just a big tug of war at the end of the day, and we're stuck in the middle.
Well, and again, like we discussed in the first episode. It's just them passing the baton back and forth between each other. So it goes from being oil money to being war money. It's either the war machine or the oil machine, and then they use green energy as a way to make it sound like it's not about oil, but it's still oil related. It's oil adjacent because of the way that the systems are actually, what they need. They need the oil to make all that shit.
Exactly. You're going to have to make all that. Not only that, when your Tesla battery dies, they bring a gas generator to charge you up on the road, with the truck that runs on diesel. So,
exactly.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm not against renewable, but there's places where it's good and there's places it's just not going to work.
Right.
I mean, how are you going to run a tractor trailer on complete electric?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have the battery capacity to do it. I mean, the truck already, the empty weight of a truck's probably close to 40,000 pounds.
Right.
That's with 4 batteries in it.
Yeah.
Now make the thing completely batteries, and you're going to add probably another 15 to 20,000. So what are we going to haul? 20,000 pounds?
And then hope that one of those batteries doesn't leak.
Or you get in an accident, you can. The fire departments have a heck of a time trying to put those batteries out.
Yeah.
You put them out 3-4 times before they're actually, before the fire's out.
Yeah.
And like I said, the amount of freight you're going to haul is going to be so minute unless they figure out a way to make the batteries way lighter. Right. Which they have. The technology is just not there right now.
No.
I mean, I'm sure it's coming. It's just we don't have it.
Right. Well, yeah. I'm sure they have something because, I mean, they've started pushing out self-driving trucks. Because they're trying to get away from, which, I mean, there's positives and negatives there. We've seen what the truck drivers they send around. Granted, the guys out there who, are really busting their humps with those CDLs and, they actually put forth the effort to drive those rigs the way they need to be driven. That's great to those guys. But then there's been such a deficit in CDL drivers that they're giving anybody who can pass the test a CDL. That doesn't mean that person should really be behind the wheel of something that big.
The problem with that is, of course, more nonsense bullshit regulation. Yeah. They really put the strings to the older truck drivers.
Yeah, exactly.
And they figured out any way they could to get them not to drive a truck.
Right.
And at the end of the day, most of the truck accidents involve somebody in a car that just thinks a truck can stop on a dime. Yeah. Of course there's truck drivers that cause the accidents, but at the end of the day, it's usually caused by somebody in a small car. Not paying attention or cutting them off or pulling out in front of them. I mean, they think you can pull out. It's just like with motorcycle accidents. Most of those accidents aren't the motorcyclist's fault. It's the person on their phone, pulling out of a red light or going through a stop sign or, whatever, just not paying attention. And it's the same with the trucks. So that's a lot on the other drivers. Right. I mean, I've seen it from both sides because I have my CDL, so I've already seen people. Yeah? Oh, yeah.
Well, and I grew up, I have truck drivers in the family, so it was one of those things I saw growing up.
Yeah, they're like everything else they get a bad most of the time it's not their fault. I mean, everybody loved them through COVID. They were the best thing out there.
Well, yeah. They were making everything keep going.
The accidents were way down, too, because the other idiots were on the road. Yeah. They were only allowed to have truck drivers out there for a while there. So. Yeah.
Well, until everything got tied up when all the shipping containers got parked offshore for how long?
California's nonsense too. Because they put some bullshit law in that the truck had to be made after such a year you couldn't use it in the state.
Overregulation.
Yeah, exactly. So at the time when and then the truck drivers just said the hell with it because they're driving those trucks, and the reason they drive those older trucks is, believe it or not, they get better fuel mileage. Yeah. So. They put all this bullshit on the trucks to try to make the exhaust, less effective to the nature. Right. Or the air. Yeah. But at the end of the day, instead of getting 8 miles to the gallon, you're getting 4 or 5. Yeah. So, is it really better to have all that nonsense on the exhaust to prevent the smog, or does it cost more at the end of the day when you got to mine and, you got to dig out another 3 miles to the gallon worth of oil for every trip. Right.
Well, and that's just it. They overregulate to cut the little guy out so that they can have these big corporations that run everything based off of data and numbers that they're coming up with that doesn't actually make any sense.
And they're invested in them, and let's face it, at the end of the day. Yeah. And they don't like small business. I mean, everybody knows that because they're worried that small business big business they think is going to pay all the taxes, and they think small business is trying to hide money from the government so they don't have to pay taxes.
Right.
But at the end of the day, big business is the one that doesn't pay taxes because they have 15 lawyers that help write the tax codes, and then they know how to follow the tax codes so they don't have to pay anything.
Exactly. It's the opposite. It's the complete opposite.
Exactly. It's the complete opposite. Yeah. So they think they're worried about the little guy.
Yeah.
Cheating the government out of a dollar or two when the big guy is not paying taxes on anything.
No, they have offshore bank accounts. They have
you got one company that's got 15 different corporations. Or LLCs. That way they don't have to pay tax on it because they set themselves up an LLC for each truck or a corporation for it's just like the airlines. You go on the airlines, you fly American Airlines. Well, when you get on the plane and you're sitting down, the first thing that they tell you is this is Airbus 476 flown by Jimmy Crockett and American Airlines, because each plane is its own corporation.
Okay.
And they do that, number one, because they avoid taxes, because now each one has its own expenses.
Yeah. But
the other reason is if the airplane goes down and crashes and kills everybody, you can only sue that corporation. You can't sue American Airlines.
Well,
so they're protected on all sides.
That's what Facebook. They went and rebranded as Meta the second they had a bunch of lawsuits coming in. Yeah. So then all of the money went to Meta, and then the lawsuits were against Facebook, which only had like $1 billion instead of the multi-billions of dollars.
And what that lawsuit end up? 700-some million?
Something like that.
And who's making that money?
Exactly.
All the lawyers.
Exactly.
Money. They're probably taking 35% plus expenses. So at the end of the day, they're probably making 55 to 60%.
Yeah.
And then they're going to split the other 40% between millions of people.
Yeah.
So you're going to check for $1.50.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's nonsense.
But that's just it. If you look, that's the way everything goes. Is they blow it out of proportion, and then till all is said and done, nobody ends up getting anything.
Oh, no. Exactly. That's how all these lawsuits are.
Right.
The only ones making money at the end of the day are the attorneys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They love them.
And they're the ones working with the judicial system to help put these laws and policies in place to help keep their profits coming in.
Yeah, I mean, the world would be a wonderful place without politicians and lawyers.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I think that's just it. They've set up all these corrupt and shady systems. They've got, human trafficking is the single biggest thing in this world. They've got a well-orchestrated, well-oiled machine from top to bottom where they're using our own systems that the government has set up to move these kids around. They're flying them from one state to another without proper paperwork being even filed with, people who should know in those states that this is what's going on, this is where they're coming from, this is where they're going to. Then they just get lost into a system and divvied up into social services that we've set up and put into place where it's just hand them from this person to that person. It's a shell. We're moving them around, and then all of a sudden the kids are gone, and nobody knows where the fuck the kids are.
Yeah. You mean when you say social services, you mean private companies?
Yes, exactly. Private companies that are getting government funding to then take these kids and traffic them to people.
Well, they take these kids and they set them up with people and they have no idea where they're at.
Right.
But what cracks me up with that is, you have that set up, they just take these kids and just hand them out.
Yeah.
And then you have somebody go to try to adopt the kid.
Exactly.
And it's it's a year process?
Absolutely. It makes no fucking sense.
And this was all set, it's not just Republicans or Democrats. It was set up, a lot of them, like the cages these kids are put in, were set up under Obama.
And that's what the whole baton passing.
Nobody wants to talk about that.
Exactly.
And then when Trump gets in, he's putting them in cages. Well, those cages are already built.
Yeah.
He's just following what you guys set up originally.
Yeah.
And then Joe Biden goes in and just continues the same process.
Exactly.
And then they act like, they don't know what's going on.
Right.
How is this? This is ridiculous. How's this happening?
And that's just it.
If a whistleblower say something about it and they just blow her off.
Right.
She talks about it. She pretty much laid out exactly what's going on.
Dude.
And they just ignored it completely. They actually cut her off at the meeting.
Her time was up.
Sorry, man, your time's up.
Yeah. She's literally sitting there describing that in her years of service, in what, two years that she was there with the Biden administration, and regardless, again, these policies, these things, they get set up between them. No, they just keep going.
And even like him, I mean, the machine's so big,
right?
He's not doing anything either.
No, he can't.
Well, if he wanted to.
Listen, well, I mean, and if he would, there's video out there that should be used in FBI training to see what a sexual offender looks like. I mean, there's a 12-minute montage of Joe Biden being extremely inappropriate with everyone from adult women to children right in front of their parents. I'm sorry. If he would have done what I saw him do with some of those just for photo ops, if he would have done that to my daughter, I would have decked him. I don't give a shit who the fuck he is.
Exactly. I mean,
he was the vice president at the time, to be clear.
Yeah.
But even still, like, you can tell by looking at that footage that is a fucking sexual predator.
He's definitely a creeper.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
He puts his arm around him, touches him inappropriately. I mean, at the end of the day, he's definitely a creeper. And he's sniffing him. It's just how anybody can think there's nothing wrong with that. There's something wrong with you if you think that's
exactly wrong. If you're just saying, he's just old, this, that, or the third.
Your granddaughter,
right?
Touch him in that situation.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, if things that I've heard about that family are to be believed,
I mean, look at
that is right up his alley.
Hunter's sleeping with this
niece.
He was sleeping with his dead
was it the nephew?
His dead brother's wife.
Well, no, it was and his niece.
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Yeah. He was in inappropriate shit with his niece. Yeah, there's footage and shit or information from the laptop that made it out onto the internet. But now they're gonna tell you that don't believe that.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
They're already talking about how they're gonna get him out of the using drugs for the buying the guns, because you're not allowed to buy guns if you're using any kind of drugs.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and he lied on his 4473 when he bought his gun and said that he wasn't a drug user, which he lied there.
Yeah.
But they're going to use the Bruin to get him out of that, because they're going to say that there's nothing in the original Constitution that says you couldn't be a drug user and still be a gun owner. So they're going to get
we're going to go back to the original. Now they want to go back to the original Constitution. Then usually they're trying to get rid of it.
So my argument is, all right, well, if that's the way you want to go, that's fine.
Yeah.
But guess what?
Yeah.
You still lied on an official government document.
Right.
So you may not get
still a felony
on the drug charge, but you're going to get hammered on the line on the federal document charge.
Exactly.
So, because if I do that, I guarantee I'm getting hemmed up.
Oh, absolutely.
The first thing they do is if somebody goes in to buy a gun and they say that they can legally buy a gun, and then they do their background check and it finds out they can't.
Yeah.
The immediate thing to do is the DAs are going right after him and arresting him for lying on the form. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if he's going to get away with the gun part of it, that's fine, but you still lied on a federal form, so you still committed a felony at the end of the day.
Right.
So, I mean, but I think it's funny how now they're all Second Amendment,
Yeah.
Because it benefits them.
That's fucking hilarious.
It's going to be great if they use that defense.
Well, I mean, dude, at this point, like, shit like that proves that we just need to literally pull the brakes. And
it just proves right there. I mean, it just proves that if you're powerful enough,
right,
you can just skirt the laws
within the system
right in plain sight.
That's there.
Now, if the average person did that, trying to pull that, they'd be like, "Nah, that's not going to work."
Yeah, that doesn't.
Nice try.
No. What is it? The golden rule: do unto others as though you would do unto yourself. Well, I mean, I think they need a taste of that.
No, I think it's their rule is do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, yeah.
That's their rule.
Oh, yeah. And then they try to project that out, and that's the thing. They've had so many parents adopt that mentality of do as I say, not as I do. And then the parent themselves is not being a good role model to their children. They expect the school to take care of what they lack. They expect the state to step in or the government, or however you want to say it, and basically raise their kid and not see that they themselves are the one who led them into that path.
Well, there's a small portion of people that absolutely do that. They think school's daycare.
Yeah.
And they think school's going to raise your kid for you, but that's part of the problem with this country.
Yeah.
You know, the school's going to raise, if that's what you're going to let them do, and that's what, you know, probably 25-30% of the parents let them do. Right. Then that kid's going to end up with the mentality of the teacher or whoever's their, you know, biggest influencer at the school. Yeah. When at the end of the day, all the school's supposed to do is, number one, keep the kids safe while they're there. Yeah. And number two, teach them. Yeah. You know,
transfer knowledge.
Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Yeah. You know, not teach them, you know, encourage them to be gay or encourage them to
mutilate their body or anything in that nature.
That they're trans. That's not their job. Right. Their job is to teach them how to read, write.
Yeah. And the ones that are there for that, they're called counselors.
Exactly. They have specific people for that.
And they were properly trained to do that. They didn't just go to school, get a degree, and now they're regurgitating the indoctrinated bullshit that they received on to the next generation.
I mean, even look at the new math they have out.
Dude, math is math. The universe runs on a very simple mathematical equation.
You got these kids come home. I mean, I'm pretty good at math, and they, you know, when my son was just at the back end of that. Okay. And he brings this homework home, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
My daughter.
2 + 2 is 4 at the end of the day. Yep. I'm going to do all this long
extra steps
nonsense to figure it out. I mean,
for addition and subtraction. And then they're forcing kids who understand math as it works on a basic level to learn these systems, and then it ends up hurting those kids who had no problem with it. And it just, so we're lowering the bar, we're lowering the standard, and then we're bringing everybody down to that level instead of raising it and bringing it up. Like, that's how it was supposed to go.
They're just making making it harder for them to learn. It's not easier.
Exactly.
And to be honest with you, most of them that are learning that, 95% of them will never use that in the everyday life.
Not in the ways that they're trying to force it onto them.
The other problem with school is, you know, you go in there, they let them, the teachers don't even really want to teach. They let them play with their phones and do. I mean, when I did a book report, I actually had to go to the library and figure shit out. Now you just go on your phone, and you go on AI and have the AI write your book report for you.
And in that regard, I mean, that just shows that the internet came about, and we didn't really evolve the education system to kind of meet it. We should have had different expectations, different standards. Instead of forcing someone to write papers, we should have reevaluated if we can get this information and gather this information way easier than what we were. Well, then maybe we should have looked at, maybe papers aren't the way to do it anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Possibility. Yeah. I mean, let's look at them. They want to do 90% of this stuff online if they could anyways. The teachers don't even want to go to school if they don't have to. Right. They'd rather, a lot of these teachers would rather do online schooling. At the end of the day, if that's the case, then we should need 50% less teachers. Right. We'll just get everybody to just do it from home. And what's that doing? That's making society worse. Yeah. Because these kids, half the problem with these kids is they can't even interact with one another.
Right. And that's, you need that social interaction. You need that human connection.
They need that connection so they can see that, you know what, at the end of the day, you know, when your parents tell you, a lot of parents fail their kids because they set their kids up for failure. They tell them, you can be whatever you want to be. Right. Bullshit. Yeah. Some people aren't smart enough to be whatever they want to be. You can be whatever you want to be if you're willing to work hard and do something about it. But if you just think you're going to be what you want to be because you want to be it, that's not the way it works. Right. It's just like, you know, if let's face it, there's two sexes. I don't care what anybody says. There's a male and a female. Yeah. You can't be a female if you're a male. Right. You may think you are, but at the end of the day, you aren't. Right. If that's the case, you know, I guess I want to be a gold bar. Yeah. So I'll just go cash myself in at the bank. Right. Or maybe somebody wants to be an alligator. Yeah. Well, jump in with the other fucking alligators. Right. And see how that works for you. Yeah. Can you really be an alligator if you want to be one? Yeah. You know what you're going to be? You're going to be alligator dinner, and then you're going to be alligator shit. That's what you're going to be.
Exactly.
So, you know, that's why I said these people set these kids up. Tell them the truth.
Right.
if you keep jerking around and wasting your time and playing video games, you're going to end up nothing.
Yeah.
You want to end up nothing, or do you end up having something at the end of the day?
And then guiding them down that path.
Exactly. And then you got to tell them.
Helping them down that path. Don't just, say, okay, head off in that direction and go.
Well, yeah, you got to tell them, listen, you're going to go down the path.
Yeah.
You're going to come to a bridge that goes over the river.
Yeah.
The bridge is going to be broken.
Yeah.
You're going to have to figure out a way to get around.
Yeah.
So you're going to fix the bridge up, or are you going to fall to your death?
Right.
What are you going to do? Or
exactly.
Are you going to turn around and head back home because you can't figure anything out on your own?
Right.
Are you going to be a crybaby about it, or are you going to go do something about it? Are you going to be... what are you going to be at the end of the day? You got to tell them, listen, if that's what you truly want to do, it's going to take hard work.
Exactly.
There's going to be setbacks.
Yeah.
And when there's a setback, instead of crying about it, do something about it.
Right.
I mean, that's the way they have to be taught.
When it's your kids, you support them too.
Well, yeah.
You show support there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you can't support them.
You don't support them by holding their hand.
Exactly. And patting them on the back and saying, oh, I know it's hard. Let me help you with it.
No.
Well, look at these parents that do their kids' homework. You're not helping them do shit.
Right?
You're just helping them. All you're doing is making it take longer for them to learn.
Exactly.
If they're ever going to learn it, because you're doing it for them.
Exactly. And then they're going to go. Those kids are going to go out into the world to where then a boss is going to ask them to do something, and they're going to look at their boss like they got three heads and looking for somebody else to come along and help them finish the little bit that they were asked to do in the first place. I mean, most people, you can't ask them to do more than one task at a time.
Oh, yeah.
And even if
you're not there by the time they finish that task,
they're not going to do another task.
They're going to go sit in the corner. They're not going to come to you and say, hey, boss, I finished this up. What else do you need me to do?
Yeah.
That's just not the way the generation is anymore.
Work ethic and work initiative. Well, and it's not even the generation. Because the thing is as somebody who was, like, I used to be a supervisor. And I was a young supervisor to where most of my subordinates were over the age of 40.
But the difference is your job was a state job.
Right.
So what state workers actually work?
Well, I mean,
anybody that comes.
Hey, I worked. All right.
Anybody that comes from a state job, 95% of them ain't worth the room they take up.
Right.
I mean, because just look at the road crew.
Yeah.
There's 100 guys out there, 5 are working, the other 95 aren't doing shit.
Yeah.
We don't even need them. They could not be there, and you wouldn't even notice the difference.
Right.
The job would get done at the same time.
Yeah.
It'd be just probably quicker because you wouldn't have to wait. The other 5 guys wouldn't have to walk around the 95. Guys that are standing around doing nothing.
But the guys down in the Capitol, they've made it a point that we need X amount of these workers, X amount of those workers, and we're going to take your tax money, and that's where it's going to go until we need a raise. And then we don't need that many workers anymore. We only need this many workers because I need my raise.
I learned a good lesson quite a few years ago that it doesn't matter who you hire; they're going to work. You're never going to expect them to work how you work.
Right.
If you can get 75 to 80%, actual working time out of them, as they're, if they're working 10 hours, you're going to get about 7.5 to 8 hours of work out of them. That's just the way it's going to be at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So now you take that to the state.
Yeah.
You need 10 people for every one actual person. I mean, that's just the way it is.
One of the biggest,
the state sets it up that way.
Yeah. One of the biggest things that I had to do, for quite some time, especially when I was working at a facility that our entry-level employees would come in as a part-time. And they had to then wait until it was their turn to go full-time. There was such a turnover of staff just from getting people who needed full-time pay to stay. I've interviewed in that time frame triple digits of people for positions, and the way it would work, say we had 3 positions that we needed. I'd interview 15 people. Of those 15 people, I had to select 3 candidates. Of those 3 candidates, I maybe got 1 that lasted beyond their initial probationary period.
Yeah. What were the reasons they didn't last?
Well, either they couldn't do dishes. They couldn't do the little bit of work that was being asked of them. They needed the full-time, so they would transfer the second they could get a full-time position. They would leave and go to full-time. And then there was a few people who they just could not handle. They did not realize how hot kitchens would be.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
What does it do with the air conditioning?
Well, yeah. Then, I mean, we legitimately had no air conditioning in our kitchen, and we cooked by steam, and we also heated the building by steam. Yeah. So the steam pipes ran underneath the floor of the kitchen. So even though the heat was off in the summer, the steam was still flowing to the kitchen to cook. So, I mean, it was nothing for it to be maybe in the 80s outside, but you're in triple digits in steam heat on the inside of the kitchen and in the dish room.
I mean, yeah, I look at like state jobs. Most people get state or federal jobs for the benefits.
That's why. Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's why. I was a 19-year-old kid.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they're going there for this. They're not going there.
Yeah.
That they're going to do hard work. I mean, all the state workers, I'm sorry if you get upset, but the truth of the matter is, you just couldn't make it in the real world at a real job, doing the same exact job you're doing. Because in the real world, where it's not a corporation or like a smaller business, which they say smaller business is over 50% of the workforce.
Right.
You're not going to make it.
No.
You're weak. You're lazy. You don't have the mindset for it.
Yeah.
You want to do all the easy stuff, and you want to have 4 people to help you do a job that one person can do.
And then rely on the union to fight for why you need that job, why you need that position.
When you decided you couldn't wake up in the morning, you need the union to come in and save your position because you're too lazy to wake up and show up on time.
Yeah.
And then it's just, listen, that is what it is.
Oh,
hey. Don't like it too bad. That's the truth.
There was a reason why I got out of the system.
You want to cut the budget, cut the workforce in half, 50%. I guarantee you the same amount of stuff gets done.
Yeah.
And it'll get done faster.
Yeah. Well, that was just it. I mean, I worked at a facility that was closing.
The other 50% leeches.
Yeah.
All they are is blood-sucking leeches that are sitting there collecting a paycheck every day.
Yep.
They're looking on their computers. Now they can't look through porn because too many of them got caught, so now they got them filters on there.
Oh, dude, we had... There was this one guy, coworker, he was such an idiot. He was emailing some chick in the system. She worked at another facility, and he was emailing to communicate with her, and then printing out the fucking emails, and then forgetting to pull the fucking email off of the goddamn printer. So then my boss's wife, she was the dietary manager. She would come in, she'd see the damn fucking the email right off the printer.
Didn't I say most of them weren't very bright?
Yeah.
I think I point right there. I mean, listen, I went and quoted a job for a state worker at an armory.
Yeah.
And he loved his job.
Yeah.
He's in the armory. There's maybe 15, 20, 30 military men that go in and out of there every day, if that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't deal with any of them. Yeah. His job was the maintenance on the armory. And all he did was sat in a little room smaller than our podcast room and played solitaire on his computer all day. I mean, it was ridiculous. I didn't even brag to anybody. He's like, yeah, this is what I do all day.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't even do that if I wanted to. I'd go nuts down there in a little room, playing stupid games all the time.
Dude, I can't sit that still.
I mean, how do you justify, I think he was making like 65 or 70 grand a year.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. I mean, that's easy. Yeah. That's crazy. Ridiculous, and that's tax money.
And we got one of those guys in every armory.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, when they could probably pay one man to go and maintain all the armories in the state whenever something goes wrong.
And then the job we quoted, he had to get like 15 quotes.
Yeah,
and then he ended up not doing anything. That didn't make sense. I guess they just need work for him to do.
Yeah, well, and that is a lot of times where there were times where we had what was called the surplus budget. Yeah. Well, find something to use it on so we can get it again next year.
The other great part about that building too is when I was there, they were putting bulletproof tint on the windows. So this thing's like, I think it was like maybe 2 stories.
Okay.
So they're bulletproof tint in the windows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who the hell's coming up to shoot the armory?
Yeah.
There's reservists and stuff like that there. I mean, I've never seen an armory really shot up.
Right.
So we could waste taxpayer money to put bulletproof, window tint on the armory.
But not schools.
But we can't do it on the schools.
Don't do it on the schools.
Don't do it on the schools. don't protect the kids that everybody's so worried about.
Yep.
It's all about the kids.
Yep.
It's all about the kids. But we're spending that project was probably 10 or 12 grand because The film
Yeah.
was, I guess, made by 3M.
Okay.
And you can't even buy the stuff because it's some kind of government.
Yeah.
Government, you know, they're one of their.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, if it's tin.
It's awesome. You know, but we can't put that on the schools.
Right.
We're worried about school shootings, but how many armory shootings were there in the last year?
Yeah.
I bet you there were more school shootings in a month than there were armory shootings.
Right.
We're worried about doing it to the armories.
Yeah.
Because we know that the armories aren't going to get shot up. We got to spend the taxpayer money.
There you go.
And then when the school gets shot up, we can bitch about it and say nobody did anything about it.
Yep. And then we can parade the victims on the news, and we can woe is this and woe is that.
Exactly. It was this person. It was that person.
Yeah.
It's mental health. It's this. It's the guns. No.
Yeah.
It's not the guns.
No.
It's not the. It's part of the mental health is part of it, but
it's by design.
It's exactly. We allow it to happen consistently.
Yeah.
We do it in Chicago.
It's encouraged.
Gun control.
Yeah.
Chicago's got more shootings than anywhere, and they got some of the strictest gun laws.
Right.
So how's it working?
It's not, because it's one thing. You can have all the laws, the policies. You can have all that until you're blue in the face. But I mean, people are still people.
Well, I've yet to find a criminal that follows the law.
Right.
Have you found any?
No.
I haven't seen any.
No.
Yeah, I mean, our own government gives half these guys the guns.
Right.
I mean.
What was it called?
Furious.
Yep, Fast and Furious. Yeah.
Oh,
and then they try to say they didn't, and then they came out. We did.
Oh, got a little out of control.
Yeah. And now, we don't do that anymore. Like fucking hell.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, it's just, I don't know. If they truly cared about the kids, they'd all get together and do something about it.
If they did as much as they claim, we would have pulled the brake, and we would be trying to find those 65, 85,000 kids that are just the migrant kids that are missing, those are probably some of the ones that got flown into fucking Tennessee.
Probably. Like how much money did we spend on school security?
Exactly.
And then I think it was, I don't know if it was a shooting in Uvalde. One of the shootings, the teacher saw the shooter coming.
Yeah.
And didn't lock the door.
Yeah. That was,
you see somebody coming with an assault rifle, you don't lock the door.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she should be convicted of manslaughter. If you're that stupid.
Or an accessory. An accessory.
I mean,
yeah.
How do you not, you want to, I think they went after that cop there, this security official.
They went, no, that was the one where they went hard after the police force and everything for not going in.
That was bad too. I mean, the whole there hear shootings. And what are they waiting for?
Yeah, see, those are the ones that. I mean, the story doesn't track.
Yeah, Homeland Security was there. They wanted to go in.
Yeah.
Like, how does Homeland Security show up on the scene?
Yeah.
And some local yokel joke of a sheriff's in charge.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, how does that even work?
Exactly. Well, I mean, technically, like if you look into sheriffs are the highest law enforcement. They're still technically, regardless of anything else, as far as what the Constitution says, I believe, sheriffs have the most power beyond your regular, like even more than regular law enforcement.
That's not really true.
No?
No, like.
It just depends on where it is.
The sheriff can't even pull you over in Pennsylvania for a speeding violation. So it all depends where you're at. Like some places call it a police department, the sheriff's department. They don't call it a police department.
Yeah.
So it's all different.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were arresting parents, putting them in handcuffs to try and go into school because they didn't have the balls to do it themselves.
Yeah.
Or they purposely did it so they couldn't go in, and the school gets shot up more, and they can make a big deal about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much because how does that make any sense that you're not going to go in there when you hear kids getting shot? You're so worried so much about the kids, but you hear them getting shot and you wait, 30 to 40 minutes?
Isn't that why you got into that line of work in the first place? Was to help,
you put
to
your
defend?
life at risk if that's what you have to do.
Absolutely.
I mean, they could have went in there immediately. Probably but you know what? That wouldn't have made good news.
No, they had it.
To say, it wouldn't have made good news.
Yeah, it wouldn't have even made the news.
Like look at the he that was in Nashville that went to shoot the school up. They wrecked that. Yeah. That shim.
Yeah.
I mean, they were right in there. They didn't mess around.
Right.
And they put they solved the problem.
Right.
That's what you need to do.
Exactly.
And you didn't hear them. They weren't all up in arms.
No.
They were all up in arms that the shooter got shot.
Yep. Yep. They were trying to then and that's the mental gymnastics that they try to throw out there. Exactly. Is then they try to get it to fit their narrative, even when it's literally because of their narrative why it happened in the first place. Because of the things that they're doing, it caused that person to go off the edge.
They try saying that person was they were picked on because they were a transgender.
Yeah.
And okay, well, you know, when a whacked out white kid shoots the school up because he was picked on. Because
that's white supremacy.
There. Exactly, it's white supremacy.
Yeah.
But no, it's because he was picked on. Yeah. And the school was told numerous times. Yeah. And they did absolutely nothing about it.
Exactly.
Or the other school shooting where the parents, the kid was writing all the crazy lines and stuff, and the parents didn't know he had the gun, but they went after the parents.
Right.
But the teachers told the principal that the kid had a gun. Yeah. And they didn't do anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just it.
They immediately took him out of class.
Exactly.
They did nothing. The teacher, that's why the teacher's suing him, because she said she told him that he had the gun. Yeah. And they didn't do anything. Yeah.
So, and those are the stories that they're blowing up, that they blow up and it's, oh, see this, and then as the dust settles, it's like, well, now why the fuck didn't you just report on that? Why the fuck didn't you just make it as much of a news story when you just have to backtrack, when you just have to fucking retract your shit, when you just have to get the egg on your face? Exactly. They should be forced. That's where, like, I mean, we can't expect the fucking government to do it, but because they're the ones who are having them push the narratives that they are. So, but like the media needs to be held accountable for the manipulation that they're doing.
Oh yeah, and so do the politicians. I mean,
exactly.
They say, oh, the guns are killing people. Yeah. Well, technically, a gun doesn't kill anybody. Right. The bullet that's in the gun is the thing that kills you. Yeah. So if we're really worried, if that's what we want to talk about, then we should just ban bullets and not guns.
Well, they're trying to buy all the ammunition they can, any chance they can.
I mean, if that's the case too, you know, next time I take a test and I fail, I'm just going to blame it on the pencil. Yeah. Because it wasn't my fault. Yeah. But next time I get in a car accident, I'm going to say, you know, it wasn't me, it was the car. Right. The car did it. Yeah. I didn't do it. Yeah. You know, so they're so worried about guns. Yeah. I think the only reason they're worried about guns is because us as citizens are so well armed that they can't control us. Right. That's the only reason they care about guns. Yeah. Because they want to control the people. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. If there's no other reason behind it.
No, it's not, because the thing is your bad guys are always going to have their guns. They're always going to have them.
The politicians are always going to have the politicians. Have guns. Oh yeah. And they're some of the biggest bad guys out there.
Exactly.
I mean, so their life's more valuable than my family's life.
That's the way.
I should be able to protect myself.
That's the way they look at it.
They have a high profile job. How do you know what my job is?
Exactly.
My job. Listen, I can get shot by a crack addict that needs $10. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter who you are. You can get shot or killed or stabbed or ran over anywhere.
Absolutely.
I'd rather protect myself, because let's face it, you can't rely on the government to protect you.
And look at your response for your fire.
Exactly. I had a fire on my property. Yeah. And the firemen were there. They couldn't even get to the fire before. And it took a little over an hour to get there. So now when I'm being threatened, my life's being threatened, I'm supposed to wait for the police to get there. And let's face it, the police are underfunded. Yeah. There aren't enough of them to cover what they need to cover. Yeah. So now I got to rely on waiting for them for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, if they even show up.
And hope they show up to the right place.
Show up.
And hope that when they show up to the right place, they don't shoot you instead of the bad guy.
Who knows what's going to happen?
There's been so many stories of police showing up at the wrong address and shooting someone at that address.
Listen, they've already set people up for the police to swat them. It happens all the time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, within the last 10 years, that's gone through the roof. I mean, with streaming becoming more and more of a thing, these people think it's fucking hilarious to just call the cops and give them an address, and they don't realize that, I mean, it's fucking dangerous to do shit like that.
And not only that, I mean, you got to look at the cops' point of view. I mean, God bless them, because I don't want to do that job.
No.
I mean, especially now, because everybody treats them, even the prosecutors treat them like the criminals at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean,
except when they really should, they somehow seem to skate away with it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But for the most part, I mean, listen, the cops are like any other organization.
Yep.
You always have a percentage of bad people in every organization there is.
Right.
Some are higher than others.
The problem is when those bad apples get too high of power and then corrupt the rest down.
And the other problem is when you have the politicians step in that they absolutely know nothing about what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And then they demoralize the whole police force.
Yeah.
That's a big problem too.
Exactly.
And, these guys are some of these guys are, you're talking about a split-second decision these guys have to make.
Under high stress.
Exactly. Put yourself in their situation.
Yeah.
Do you think they want to shoot a 15-year-old kid?
No.
No, but they want to go home at the end of the day.
Right.
And when a 15-year-old kid in Chicago or wherever pulls out a gun, whether it's real or not, they don't know that.
Right.
They're not going to take time
in the
to
moment?
inspect. Exactly. You can't inspect whether it's a gun or not.
No.
That's another problem. I had an argument with somebody the other day about something so stupid as window tint.
Okay.
Because, I feel that if I can only tint my car windows to a certain percentage, why does the government get the tint? What are they hiding in there?
Right. Exactly.
What are you guys hiding? Are you hiding something in your car?
Right.
And then their response was, well, you don't know how it is to be a cop. You haven't been there. You're right. I don't know how to be a cop. But that has nothing to do with it. No. First of all, I never said police. I said government agencies.
Yeah.
The FBI drives around with tint.
Yeah.
The local other organizations drive. There's a lot of organizations you see that it's either some kind of government agency or whatever.
Just by the tint.
Exactly. A blacked out vehicle with black that you can't even see in the windows.
Yeah.
So what are you guys hiding?
Yeah.
And then so I told them that had nothing to do with it. At first I said government agencies. And listen, if a cop is that worried about pulling somebody over with tint, don't pull them over.
Right.
Or pull them over when you have support.
When you back up. Yeah.
I mean, because I see what they're saying. I'd hate to walk up to a car like that.
Yeah.
But guess what? If you walk up to my vehicle, the window would be down before you ever got there.
Exactly.
Anyways, because I don't want you to be scared.
No.
I just don't want to have all the sunlight blaring my eyes out. And maybe I'm worried about somebody seeing what I'm doing because maybe I'm going to sit somewhere and eat my lunch.
Yeah.
And I don't want somebody to walk up on me and shoot me.
Yeah.
Maybe they just don't know somebody's in the car.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, listen, if you want to make a law, everybody needs to follow it.
Right. Top to bottom.
Exactly.
Not, we're going to make a law for yous, and then everybody that's in an alphabet agency or above doesn't have to follow it.
They can follow a different
law.
They said to me, oh, you must have had a bad experience with the police.
No.
Actually, no. I've only ever had good ones. You know why? Because when I get pulled over for doing something stupid that I know I'm doing, I don't argue.
Exactly.
I'm respectful.
You're appropriate.
Yeah. I know they're doing their job. It's their job to pull me over if I'm speeding or I go through a stop sign or whatever I'm doing that's illegal.
Yeah.
Listen, it is what it is. So it's not that I have a bad... And then, they're getting executed in their cars every day.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I haven't seen any cop get executed in Skook County in their car.
Right.
I've seen a bunch of them get executed in Philadelphia and New York City.
Yeah.
But their windows aren't tinted.
No.
Their windows are normally down. They walk right up on and shoot them. So that argument
doesn't track.
That doesn't track exactly. So that argument's dead.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to be an ass about it, but it's just a matter of more laws that we got to follow.
Yeah.
That they don't have to follow.
Right. Well, and like that just boils down to the fact that, I mean, outside of, you go 10 Commandments, you go U.S. Constitution, there was enough general laws that I think we were good and we didn't need to fuck with it anymore. Yeah. But as humans, we needed to fuck with some shit to have more control, have more power over people.
More money. That's what it's all about.
Well, I mean, and it's only been about money in the last, I'd say, 100 years or so, because money before that was different. It was gold, it was bars, there was jewelry, there was jewels, there was something that made it look better than a piece of fucking paper.
I mean, if you ever look at something like the IRS code, it's such a joke in there.
Yeah.
They don't care if you steal.
No.
But you have to pay tax on what you stole.
Yeah.
The value of
it. They want theirs.
It's running in the laws. So they don't really give a shit if you steal. As long as they get their percentage of what you stole, they're happy.
But I'm sure the thieves are totally paying their taxes to the IRS.
Sure. Yeah. But it's mind blowing sometimes.
Yeah.
And they don't want you bartering. If you barter, they're
Right.
supposed to pay tax on what you bartered.
Well, that's why they're trying to get rid of the fucking currency. They're trying to get rid of physical currency.
Well, they're doing that because they want to track everything.
That's the next step.
Yeah.
That's they took us off to the gold standard back in 1971, and now here we are where they've printed X amount, and I mean, well, they've just signed that they can print more for 2 fucking years, as much as they want, without anybody saying anything or anybody. Well, I mean, we can say all we want, but nobody can actually hold them accountable for anything that they do in the next 2 years. Is what I understand of it anyway.
If anybody's okay with digital currency, you got to be nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, they said Bitcoin couldn't be hacked.
Right.
Well, that was hacked.
Exactly.
You know, that was the most secure system out here. That can't be hacked. Well, they've done it numerous times.
Yeah.
So you really rely on your government?
Yeah.
To keep track of your own money?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And listen, as somebody who's played around government-built infrastructures, I would not be inclined to have any kind. They're not getting fucking anybody from Silicon Valley to do this. They're just getting Joe fucking Schmo, who they can get to sign a contract for the least amount of money to put these systems in place.
No, they can't even keep your information protected.
Exactly.
My information got lost. My information got given out at the courthouse.
Wait, what?
A data breach, yeah. So I should sue them guys over because it caused me all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
So they can't even protect it at the local level. You think the federal level is going to protect you? You got to be kidding me.
Because it's just bigger. It's just a bigger version of the smaller.
What happens when something happens and you lose your money?
Yeah.
How long is that bureaucracy going to take to get it
right?
Well, first you got to prove that it was yours.
Yep.
And are you sure you didn't spend that money?
Yeah.
And we'll reset your password for you, but it's going to take 24 to 48. I mean, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
It is.
But
then what? But the instant they want their money, look the fuck out. Because they're going to come and bust your damn door down until they fucking get it.
When you go through
they wish they could bring back fucking debtor's jail.
When the red light camera tickets you.
Or debtor's prison, whatever the fuck.
When the red light camera, red light camera gets you, that's coming right out of your account.
Oh, fuck yeah.
There's going to be no judge, jury. There's going to be just executioner.
Well, I mean, you think that's bad. You fucking go and say the wrong thing on social media, and they'll fucking jack your whole bank account.
Probably. Then they'll say they don't know what happened.
Yeah.
You'll be sitting there with no money.
It was a computer glitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How many times do the banks have computer glitches?
Exactly.
But the computer glitch always seems to favor that.
Oh, absolutely.
I've never had a computer glitch where an extra $100 was put in my account.
Oh shit!
It's ridiculous.
It is. It's just a state of stupidity.